Hey guys, my name is Connor. I am a neuroscientist and founder of Synonics.com. Welcome to the lab. I'm going to walk you through how to use a Muse headband, the Mind Monitor app to record the data, and what a microdosing protocol might look like for you. All right, so here we go. This is the Muse headband. This is what it looks like. In your study kit, I'll give you a safety pin because about 20% of the participants' heads are too small for the way that Muse actually engineered these headbands. I myself have to have this on the tightest setting. However, if you stick a safety pin, right here, you can get it even tighter. So just a little tip for you. Step 2, put it on. Once you have it to the setting you think is going to be the best, tighten it up even more if you need to, and get your hair out of the way. You've got 4 electrodes, one over your ear here, runs all the way back down there. So you want to make sure your hair is really up, pulled up and out of the way to make sure it's flat. 2 electrodes here, and of course, on the other side over there. Once it's all flat, you can open up your Mind Monitor app. It should just look just like this. You want to make sure that the 4 traces here, which correspond to the electrodes in clockwise order from top to bottom here, are nice and smooth as they're coming across. So not looking like this, for instance. This sort of boxiness is exactly what you don't want to see. So make sure that you have these traces kind of smoothly going across. And we're going to test 2 things in terms of signal that we can detect here. It's going to be eye blinks and jaw clenches, just to make sure it can pick up something that's not a brain, because we can definitely detect these non-brain signals very easily. The brain signals are going to be a little more subtle. So let's let this kind of chill for a moment. Let it kind of rest. And I'll get some eye blinks in here. Okay, here we go. Great, it's picking up some eye blinks very well. Now we'll do jaw clenches. Pretty cool, right? So it can pick up electrical activity. Let's get to the electrical activity of the brain. What do we have to do? Absolutely nothing. You just sit there as still as you possibly can for 5 minutes with your eyes closed, just like this. Before you do that, we're going to make sure that we are all set up for the recording. So you can see there's a record button here. There's also a settings button here. Go to the settings and make sure that you have the recording interval. Hopefully you can see this somewhat. Recording interval set to constant. I think by default it's 1 second. Make sure you switch to constant. That'll allow us to do more sophisticated analyses than just the 1 second slicing of the data. Once you have the record interval set, now you're ready to start a timer on your phone. So just go over to your timer app, your clock, make sure you go to your 5 minutes here and just go ahead and press start. Now we're ready to go back and we can click record. Go ahead and click record, set your phone down and get into your nice rested state. Just be still. You don't have to feel like you have to be a statue. If you need to kind of scratch an itch at any time, you can, but just kind of relax. Should be the most relaxing part of your day. The way that we're going to do this is record at the same time of the day every day if you can, because we definitely know what the brain looks like when it's sleeping versus when it's awake. Maybe there are going to be subtle changes at different times of the day, so having that variable consistent will be very nice. I would recommend actually recording your brain before lunch every day. Why? It might be that the microdose is peaking in its effects if you took it in the morning around that lunchtime. So if you want to analyze the data on a microdose day versus a non-microdose day, that'll be the best for us to get that particular data point. In terms of looking at how the protocol will actually work for you, I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll pull up some hypothetical data that I've created to kind of guide what might occur in one of these studies. So again, this is completely hypothetical. I have no idea what the result of this is going to be. I do know that these measures do correlate with what we're seeing in the lab. So for instance, the cognition measure here in blue correlates with people's age, such that when they're at age 40, they have this peak cognitive measure, and that measure is actually blunted in folks who have heavy cannabis use. And it's improved when people are taking a microdose of LSD in the laboratory as well. So those 3 different things, it's peak cognitive time of your life, a little bit more of a cognitive enhancement of a microdose, a little bit more of a cognitive blunting from cannabis heavy use. To me, signifies this as a cognition measure. The emotion measure in the laboratory correlates really well with anxiety. So people who have very high anxiety have more of this emotion measure. And then finally, awareness. This correlates really well with people who are under anesthesia or asleep. If you're more awake, if you're watching a movie, even more so, or on a psychedelic experience, you're going to have higher measures of awareness. So sort of this spectrum of awareness. Calling it awareness here, arousal could be another word. I think the field is still trying to figure out what word would be best for that. But again, these are all experimental measures. And so this is an experiment. It's an exciting kind of time to see what's going to happen from a microdose to sputum and microdosing protocol. I would love it if most folks who joined had lower levels, quote unquote, of emotion. Maybe they have higher anxiety, for instance, and then we're going to see if we can kind of boost your emotion levels up along with your cognition and awareness measures. How are we going to do that? We're going to do this every day for 35 days. So you can see here, baseline is just a couple days of recording before you start your microdose. So you have to have your microdoses already obtained, however you're doing that. And you're going to follow this 1 day on, 2 days off protocol. You'll have 10 microdoses here, finishing on day 28. And then we have 4 days of post tests. This will be great. I mean, once you finish the 35 days, you'll have 35 nice EEG recordings to send us, and you'll be sending them to us in real time, but we're going to wait until all the data is collected before we put together your report card to send back to you. That's it as far as the microdosing protocol goes. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either research@psynonix.com or connor@psynonix.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'll create more videos like this to walk you guys through the other study that's available now, which is the Psynotics or Psychonautics EEG study. This is more related to going into an altered state of consciousness. If you're someone who's really into meditation, for instance, or pharmacological adjuncts to meditation, which may be a psychedelic drug in higher doses, this is a way to get a good sense of what's going on during the brain, in your brain during that time. And so looking forward to kind of having more people take part in that study as well. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and thanks so much for listening. See you guys, bye.